या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। To all Mother Divine's most beautiful children gathered here, a very, very warm welcome. This is a special day and a very happy and a very painful day for me too as your mother. Today on this occasion is the Punya Tithi of my Guru, Swami Shardanand Giriji Maharaj Ji, who I owe my life, my knowledge, my blessings, my path, my purpose, my happiness, my sorrow, my everything to. And so when I talk to you today on trials and tribulations and grief and trauma, please know that I feel it very personally. Because to me, my Guru was my mother, was my father, was my best friend, was my critic, was the one who I would look up to in any situation of life, happy or sad. There was one call which was on my speed dial, and that number was his. And I still have his number on my speed dial, and every time I am in any trouble or any kind of trauma or difficulty, I still choose to dial him. And whether I hear his voice in the worldly form or not, I still get my answers. Life, they say, is filled with pain and happiness, with day and night, with pleasure and deep trauma. It is like life that we hold is a contradiction of sorts. That the same thing that gives us happiness, joy, pleasure, life, meaning is the same thing that ends up giving us the maximum amount of pain, the maximum amount of trauma, the maximum amount of sorrow. And that's where the disillusionment starts to come. The mother who teaches you the first word Ma, the mother who brings you into the life in the lap of that beautiful soul, the first dance, the first movement of your hands happen, and the mother goes sometimes later in a space where her hands are so fragile that you're scared to hold them. The lap that could nurture you, love you, cherish you, caress you and basically create your world of happiness is the lap that's too fragile to be even touched. The mother that you run up to with your smallest of problems in life. That I've lost one button on my shirt. That my friend said something to me. or that something happened, the same mother calls you and tells you about the million pains that her body is enduring and having, and you find yourself so helpless. And you're questioning yourself that my mother could solve small problems of my life, even tiny little problems of my life, and here my mother is dealing with such pain, and I feel so helpless. And then comes a time when all of us face loss of the mother. Actually lose the mother. And world feels a complete strange world in itself. Because the meaning of the world came from Ma. And the loss of Ma changes the meaning of the world itself. And that is true for all the relationships we hold in life. The son that we love more dearly than our last vessel in our life. We could give anything to just keep our son with us. The daughter who's the apple of our eye. The daughter in who we see our dreams dancing and reverberating. Her smile, the son's hand feels like the hands of an iron man who will hold you out of any agony and any pain. And the daughter feels like the soft breeze that can ease away the pain. And then in this world, there are parents who face the unimaginable pain of losing their own child in front of their eyes. When in Sanatan we describe pain, the epitome of pain is losing your own child in front of your eyes. Nobody has to bear that trauma, they say. And yet, we see that happening all around us. Only day before yesterday, there was an accident in which the bus was taking students and a tree fell and a mother lost her son. It was not just loss of any mother's any son. It's the loss of the future. It's the loss of hope. It's the loss of life itself. It's the loss of meaning itself. It's the loss of time itself. सनातन में एक हिंदी का एक वाक्य बोलेंगे, बड़ा सुंदर कहा जाता है कि माँ की गोद में जन्म लेना और माँ का आपके हाथों में जाना, ये सनातन की चक्र है, ये प्रक्रिया है. That when you are born in the lap of your mother and your mother goes in your lap, that's the Sanatan, that's the chakra of life. And we see even that chakra reversing. Then comes the love of the life. Your partners, your soulmates. The people that you trust at a time more than you even trusted your parents or anyone in this life. Why? Because that's what Shiv Shakti, that's what Radha Krishna, that's what Sita Ram is all about. When we call upon Ram, we call Sita first. When we call upon Shiv, we call Shakti first. When we pray to Shiv, we say Namah Parvati Pate Har Har Mahadev. We take the name of the wife first. The eternal nature of soulmate, the love, the deep bond that is unexplainable. You can be a child to your partner, and you can be a mother to your partner, you can be a father to your partner, or you can be a son to your partner. It's a very, very different role that only two people living in it can understand. And yet, for many, that relationship in itself gets so painful. There's many different directions in which pain comes in this relationship. Sometimes it's as treacherous and as painful as abuse itself. कलयुग में देखा है बहुत ज्यादा, खास तौर पे ये जो टाइम जिसमें हम हैं, जहां पर रिश्ते में पति पत्नी के, लवर्स के अब्यूज है. There's violence against the person you love. Where is the love if there is violence against the person? But there is violence. The person that you want to hold, protect, you are constantly abusing the person, and there is then this abuse. So the relationship that's supposed to give you a lot of happiness is not giving you that happiness. And then, for those who have found that eternal happiness in a relationship, they found their Shiv in the man that they love, and they found their Parvati in the woman that they love. They found the Ram in the man that they see, and they found the Sita in the woman that they love. Something happens sometimes to those relationships too. Suddenly life becomes, as they say, cruel, and you lose your partner, or you lose a part of them, or you lose many parts of them, and you want to do anything to give them the life that they deserve. You want to see your Shiv stronger than ever. You want to see your Shakti flowing and dancing than, more beautiful than the wind itself and the waves of the ocean itself, and yet it doesn't happen. Not at least in the real world in the way that you want to see. And that's all of these trials and tribulations start us questioning what life is even. It starts to make us feel very despondent and sad and pained. What do we do? They say Kali Yuga is a yuga where you get more pain. You get more destruction. But is it true in its absolute? Let's just find out. Let's look at all the yugas that have passed by. The Satyug, the Dwapar, the Treta. Ram, when he was about to be throned as a king, it was his rightful order to be the king. He was destined to be the king. It was his throne, his seat. He was not asking someone else's Rajya, someone else's rule. It was his rule, written in gold akshar, कि ये राम का राज्य है. And the day when he was about to get his Raj, the mother that dearly loved him probably more than even Kaushalya. So Ram had more mothers than one, but Kaushalya and Kekai in love were equivalent. Ram never felt any difference in love when he was growing up. Yet, as fate would have it, the day when he is going to get coronated as the king, the mother says to Dashrath that I want Ram not to be the king and I want my son to be the king. And now make it happen because you had given me a vow, and a vow to basically whatever I ask you will have to fulfill. And Dashrath, the righteous father of the Lord himself, is saying, don't ask me something which is really not just so unfair. He's just got married, he's got his beautiful wife, Sita is with him. What are we asking of our own children? And she, in her delusion at the time, says, no, not only will you not let him sit on the throne, they'll be expelled for 14 years. And he will surely be. Sita can stay. Dashrath, being the king, as the kings have to be even today, their vow has to mean something, otherwise they're no kings, right? One could ask that क्यों दशरथ ने ऐसी बात को माना, पर राज का मतलब ही यही होता है कि अगर राज में धर्म नहीं होगा और अपनी बात बोली गई, आप पीछे हट गए तो राज नहीं हुआ ना. वही राज है, वही मतलब है प्रतिज्ञा का. एंड उस प्रतिज्ञा से, that vow, Ram had to go, and he happily took it. And then he asked Sita that, you, my dear, my beloved, my lover, you have lived in beautiful palaces. You came here for a life that was of beauty, of love, of grace. You do not deserve my fate. This is my fate. You live here, and Sita says, my fate is tied to you, not just from this lifetime, but from eternal lifetimes and eternity. And to stay here in the palace without you is a life which will be lifeless. And I don't want to live this life. I want to go with you. She implores him and does the balhat. You know, they say in Hindi, that there's a childlike stubbornness a woman shows when she has to get something done. And she must. And she then goes with Ram. 14 years of absolute wilderness. 14 years of abject wilderness. And life in forest is not fun. We cannot even imagine what it would be like for them. Not food, no place to sleep, constant threat of everything going wrong. And yet they lived and lived and lived and lived and lived beautifully. That almost Banvas looks like a place of some, जैसे वो भी कोई वेकेशन का स्पेस है, क्योंकि ऐसे ही दिखाते हैं ना आजकल टेलीविजन में कि सीता जी और राम बड़े खुश हो रहे हैं, प्रसन्न हो रहे हैं. प्रसन्न थे वो, पर प्रसन्न उनकी अवस्था नहीं थी, which means they were happy. But their life and the surroundings and the environment wasn't happy. Understand the dichotomy. So when we complain of Kali Yuga, we must look at other yugas as well. And then when finally they've crossed the time of 14, 13 years, and it's time for them to go back, it's time for them to have the worldly pleasures, it's time for them to have all the comforts back, suddenly Ravan comes and abducts Sita and takes her away 2,500 and plus kilometers away somewhere. Is this life of joy by any means? Is this a life that one would want? By any means, no. But the Lord himself had it. The goddess herself had it. And while she is abducted in the 1 year and 2 weeks or 2 months, there's a debate on whether it was 1 year, 2 weeks or 1 year, 2 months, let that debate continue. But 1 year certain, Sita defeats Ravan each day. Ravan cannot even touch Sita. Ram defeated a broken ego which was already broke by Sita's tap and Sita's jap and Sita's being herself. So just look at how life was for them. Go further. We look at Dwapar Yuga, the Yuga of Krishna, the Yuga of Ras, the Yuga of love, the Yuga of happiness, the Yuga of joy. And when we look deeply at the life of Krishna, again it's the life of pain. When we look at life of Arjun, the Pandavas that we so celebrate as the absolute warriors, is a life of pain. It's the purpose that we celebrate. It's the ability to rise above their own pain to give pleasure to others and happiness to others that we celebrate. Krishna, a little child born, when he was born, he already was ready to be killed. His own maternal uncle is after his life, wants to take him out of the life as soon as Krishna is born. And where is Krishna born? Krishna is born in the jail. And he is born there, and Kans is out to kill him because he knows that this is the incarnation, and if he lives, I shall not live. Which means that if good lives, bad cannot live. That whenever good comes, and if good survives, the bad has to destroy. It'll destroy under its force. He's born and somehow Devaki and Vasudev save the child. And now he's being looked after by Yashoda. And Yashoda gives him all the love that any mother could ever give. A lot of love he got, no question about it. But that still was away from his birth mother. Just look at the dichotomy. The love of Yashoda is higher. They say that there is no other love in this world comparable to the love of Yashoda, because there is pure vatsalya in it, pure joy, pure compassion in it. इतना प्रेम कि कान्हा को ये भुला दिया कि वो भगवान है. सबसे ज्यादा प्रेम क्या है? Love is when you forget who you are. So you forget your responsibilities. He's stealing the butter and the buttermilk. He's having childlike fun. Why is it all that significant? Because that love of Yashoda made him even forget कि वो खुद नारायण है. पर दुख तो था, पीड़ा तो थी, कष्ट तो था. When we celebrate Krishna, we don't celebrate Krishna's happy life. We celebrate Krishna's ability to bring happiness to any opportunity that was given to him. When Indra, and there's another tale that come on Krishna, that everybody in Vrindavan and everybody in Mathura and in Barsana would worship Indra. Indra, the god of all the demigods god, and also the god of rain, and also the god of righteousness, and worship him and him alone, and had forgotten other things and were very scared. It must rain, it must rain, it must rain, it must rain. Lord Indra, do this. And Krishna felt that this is a little off. That Sanatan, that its roots are much deeper. That yes, Indra gives rain, great, but there is more to Sanatan, the Sat Chitanand, the absolute. Now please understand, he is not against somebody worshipping Indra. He is against worshipping only for desires. Worship is not meant to be worshipping only for desires. It's a worship of the higher form, to worship, to know your own self. And Krishna is worried that what is happening to these beautiful people. They're worshipping only out of fear. And if the fear is not fulfilled, then they're all helter-skelter and don't know to look within the God that they hold. And he says, no, you must not worship Indra. And Indra furies and rages. And when he rages in his fury and anger, again a lot of pain. See, this is when we look at stories, we think everybody is having fun. Yes, everybody is having fun because Krishna was there. But the environment was not of fun. If the rains are pouring to the point that they can take everything away with it and sweep away your homes and your livelihoods, it's not a pleasant time. Krishna holds the Parvat on his little finger and brings everybody under it and say, let this rain god do whatever he does and you all are protected. And in that time, everyone is dancing, doing ras, having fun under that Parvat. What does that mean? The spiritual meaning of this is, you may have tribulations of life. They will happen, but if you have Lord within you and God within you, you can still dance in happiness. You can still dance in joy, no matter what the situation. Let's move forward with Lord Krishna. He had to leave his Shakti Radha in the human form. Well, just like Shiva and Shakti can never be separated, to those who know, the enlightened who know, Radha and Krishna are same and there's no difference between them. But when he had to leave Vrindavan, leave Mathura, because there was again, he wanted to protect his own people, he set his Nagari and his kingdom much farther away in Dwarka, completely away from where he was. Again, a big movement. One would say anybody would completely lose their calm if they are put into situations of tribulation and trials like that. He did not. And then when he is in that situation, he also helps Pandavas do the war and wage the war on evil. I want to bring your attention from Krishna to Arjun. Arjun is the devotee that we all must be, is the seeker that we all must be, is the warrior that we all must be, is the curious soul that we all must be. When Krishna implores Arjun to the war of Dharma in Mahabharata, and obviously there are reasons for Mahabharata to happen. Their wife Draupadi had been not only insulted in a court full of men and women who were supposedly the kings and holders of the righteousness, her last respect was taken away in the form of trying to snatch the cloth away. What does that mean? When you're snatching a female's clothes because without her consent, you're taking the respect of the entire generation and the clan with it. And it doesn't mean that the respect of female is in her clothes. The respect of female is in her consent. So what happened that day was without her consent, and that is why it was evil at the highest. And when that is happening and Krishna comes and magically, spiritually saves Draupadi, Draupadi falls at the feet of Bhagwan Krishna, doesn't want to talk to anyone else, has lost all her faith in what is the use of having 5 husbands when none of them could protect me. There again is a spiritual meaning behind it. That we may have our partners, that we may have our parents, that we may have our children, but our ultimate protector, the ultimate refuge is the consciousness, is the soul, is the Brahm himself. You call him Krishna, you call him Mother Durga, you call her Adi Shakti, you call Shiva, those are names, it's one and the same thing. And so she is completely grief-struck. She's like, life doesn't make any sense, Krishna, anymore. He says, if I completely understand Sakhi, Sakhi is the way he calls her, Sakhi, friend. I understand. And I'm sorry. Maafi chahta hu. But you will have to hold yourself together, that something more will have to come out of it. Otherwise, what will happen to the world after this? If a particular kingdom and kings have decided to do this in public eye, to do this to a woman in public eye, this will become the rule of the land, the law of the land. Something must happen to it. So she says that I need to see them suffering for what they did. And Krishna says, you will. But for now, calm down. It will happen. And then Pandavas, now we say that today there are so many bad people. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. But look at Kauravas. Even in Dwapar, the kingdom was large, was big. It wasn't a small kingdom. It had all the riches. And Pandavas were the rightful heirs of the kingdom also, because they were the sons of Pandu. But Duryodhan and the family and the clan said, they won't even get an inch of land on our property. We will not give it to them. And Krishna goes and says, and tries to negotiate, like we see the negotiation happens these days. When people say Krishna wants people to war, such a bluff. He never wanted anybody to war. The war was becoming of the evil, not backing down. It's not Krishna wanting people to fight. And then Krishna says, 5 gaon de do, give 5 villages. Itni badi sultanate hai, you have such big estates, 5 villages. And Duryodhan says, not even एक needle के बराबर, सुई के बराबर भी नहीं दूंगा, जाओ. And then he wants to forcefully, again, put Krishna only in prison. What does that mean? Again, a spiritual message. Evil will always try to block the good and put that also in prison. So when evil rises, It tries to suppress the good. It tries to suppress the voice of the righteousness. It tries to suppress and put that to behind. And the war is then obviously its own making. Arjun gets deluded. Arjun gets worried. Arjun is absolutely the only devotee of Krishna at the time to the level anyone can be. And he's still deluded. And when the stage of war is set, he's saying, I will not fight. Like we all do all the time in our lives. Every day, when we are facing trials and turbulences and challenges, we all say, we will not fight. We will get up and we'll say, we will not fight. So Arjun is not any different than us. So Krishna says, ask me all your questions that you have, but you cannot fall to cowardice of this nature, that you have to fight. And he says, but there will be destruction with this war, that people will die, that women will lose their husbands and sons, and that the entire kul can just be decimated, destroyed. And I cannot kill my own. The other side is also my own. I cannot kill my own. Then Krishna says that the other side is me. This side is me. That everything that you see alive or dead is me. The one who is grieving is me. The one who is killing is me. The one who will lose a life will be me. And the one who will gain something from it or not gain from it will be me. It's all me. Why are you so worried? I am the one who takes all the pain. I stand there and I stand in you. I stand there in grief looking at how bad a kul has become, because the consciousness is me. And I can experience that. And the consciousness in you is also me. So fight. Fight for the right. Because if you do not fight, the war will still be. The destruction will still be. But then you would have lost the place of the role that you were given in life. And the dialogues went on and on and on. Some say कि 16 अध्याय हुए पूरे और 2 बाद में जोड़े गए, 18 माने 16 माने. लेकिन कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को पूरा समझाया. उसको जितनी क्यूरोसिटी थी, जितना वो जानना चाहता था, उसको ये नहीं कहा कि क्या भाई सोचो. आजकल हम लोग एक प्रश्न का जवाब किसी को देना नहीं चाहते. We don't even want to give one answer to someone's curiosity. And here the Lord of the world is giving those answers, not at any other place, right at the center of a war. Because he doesn't want Arjun to do something that he doesn't believe in. He wants Arjun to do it with full faith and full surrender, but understanding it first. And when that war happens, we all know Arjun also lost his own son Abhimanyu. They lost all the kin, their own progeny. And the one that was remaining in the garb of Uttara, they were even after that. Kauravas were even, Ashwathama was even after that to kill it. So when we grieve that we have lost our own children, we have been losing them from times immemorial. We've been losing our own from times immemorial, but there was no warrior like Abhimanyu. And Abhimanyu's name, no mother has stopped keeping that name. I hear Abhimanyu even sometimes more than Arjun. Why? Because the child's life was a legacy in the time that he lived. Sometimes in our life we are blessed with children who do not continue to live with us, but they are special. They touched our life as angels touch our life. We are blessed to have them. बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं माता जी अच्छा ये ऐसा हुआ मेरे साथ, और हम कहते हैं कि सच में इससे दुखद कुछ नहीं, लेकिन अगर वो संतान तुम्हारी होती ही नहीं तो क्या तुम प्रसन्न होते? और आज तक मैंने एक माँ ऐसी नहीं देखी जिसने अपनी संतान को खोया हो और कहा हो कि हाँ ये संतान मेरी नहीं होती तो अच्छा होता. वो माँ फिर बोलती है कि मुझे बड़ा आशीर्वाद मिला कि वो संतान मेरी थी. That is the truth. The truth is in the blessing of that soul that came, no matter for what time they came, they touched us, they made us who we are. And they made us believe who we are. Life is like a coin. It has head and it has tails. Sorrow and happiness are tied and they cannot be untied. What can be untied is our own awakening, rising above the pain and pleasure, knowing that it is transient. In the dream state, when we are all dreaming, sometimes we are so much in the dream, and when we are dreaming with our eyes shut, and in the dream someone's kicking us and punching us, it all feels like it's all happening to us, that the kick and punches are all so real, that the death is real, that we are falling from a cliff, and yes, we are falling from a cliff, that we are sitting on a throne, and yes, we are sitting on a throne, that we did respond back to something that we couldn't respond back to in our life. You know, sometimes वैसी भी ड्रीम्स आती हैं, बोलते हैं माता जी मैं उसको रियल लाइफ में जवाब नहीं दे पाया पर मैंने सपने में दे दिया तो वो जो सपना जब घटता है वो उस समय का सत्य है, और जो अब उस सपने में होते हैं तो जागृत अवस्था, the wake state doesn't look real at all. In that state, your dream state is the real state. And when you are awake, your awake state doesn't believe the dream state. But the dream state and wake state both are you, and the state beyond that is also you. Nenam chindanti shastrani, nenam dheti pavaka, na chayanam kledantapo, na shoshati marataha. The soul that you feel so eternal is eternal. The fire cannot burn it. The water cannot take it away. The weapons cannot destroy it. So Krishna, Shakti, Shiv all tell us to rise up and find that truth within. And it is important for all of us also to be kind to each other. I see a lot of people when they go through suffering and loss and grief, some other people will come and say, ये कर्मों का फल मिल गया है. ये इतना, this is such a bad thing to say to anyone who is grieving. किसको पता है कि किसके कर्म क्या हैं? जब आपको नहीं पता तो बोलो भी मत. किसी के दुख को और मत बढ़ाओ. जब किसी को पीड़ा में देखो तो ये देखो कि ये पीड़ा, the pain that this person is feeling today can be my pain or has been my pain at some given time. We need to be more empathic to each other. We need to, what is the point of knowing so much in Sanatan when we cannot be empathic to each other, when we all know we will lose? Sometimes some people are very beautiful and then an accident happens, a cancer treatment happens, things change in their body, and we look at them, we should be loving them. They're still alive, their soul is still alive. Why are we so obsessed with the externalities of the... You have to understand that we are causing the grief amongst ourselves. It's the mind. Why Kali Yuga is bad and why Kali Yuga is said that it is worse than other yugas is because of this. And why it is better, that will also I'll explain. Because in Kali Yuga, your mind is your enemy. And you're creating a lot of problems for yourself and for others by constantly making yourself feel invalidated, worse, and then also constantly making someone else feel bad. I've heard this a lot of time. Mataji, she died of cancer. He died of cancer. He had so many pins and needles in his body. What would he have done? I would say that was a life. I told that person that this is a life of a warrior. जब वॉर होता था, जब अर्जुन और दुर्योधन की लड़ाई हो रही थी, तो कितने सिपाहियों के कितने तीर लगे होंगे, किसी की आंख में लगा होगा, किसी के शरीर में लगा होगा. हमने जब तब उनके लिए कुछ बुरा नहीं बोला तो आज हम क्यों बोल रहे हैं? ये भी तो वॉरियर ही हैं, लड़ तो रहे हैं, कलयुग के राक्षसों से लड़ रहे हैं. साथ देना चाहिए और खराब नहीं करनी है स्थिति. पुराने जमाने में जब हम कौरव की भी, when we see even Kaurav's side, and when we talk of Dhritarashtra can't see, and the wife has blindfolded herself just to make blindness look okay. There's a lot of empathy in it. We all will go through trials and tribulations. Beauty is not in the externality in it. Beauty is not in the perfection of life. Beauty is in the ability to have imperfection and still feel completely perfect. And what is perfection anyways? The last cell of the body fighting for life is as perfect as anything. The last cell. We make others feel the sorrow that they feel today. What a warrior is a person who has met an accident or who has gone through a tough time and is living their life like king or queens. There's nothing to feel pity about them. One should feel pity कि हम कितना कर पा रहे हैं सब होते हुए भी. तो कलयुग का जो कहा गया कि कलयुग क्यों दुख में है, क्योंकि कलयुग में सब दिमाग में है, सारी चीज दिमाग में, सारा इवल और सब अच्छाई दिमाग में है. एक कैंसर पेशेंट के यहाँ जब कोई जाता है और उसको बोलता है कि आई एम सो ग्लैड that you're fighting, I'm so glad that you're living, I'm so glad that I can see the spark in your eyes, I'm so glad that I can just see you, is a very beautiful thing to say to them than to debate on what karma that they did, even behind their backs. What have we become as a society? Warriors always had painful deaths. Just see them as warriors. And death is nothing but a beginning of a new life. The beginning is the end and the end is the beginning, and it's a never-ending cycle, and it will be a never-ending cycle. Or moksha, salvation doesn't happen, it's not a journey externally कि कहीं जाएंगे और salvation मिल जाएगा. Salvation is here in your heart, in your mind today. If you can look beyond the good and the bad and see consciousness, if you can look in your good and someone else's good and your bad and someone else's bad and forgive sometimes and fight other times when needed, but without the delusion of any supremacy. When Krishna is imploring Arjun to fight, before Arjun is told about all that is bad in Duryodhan and the other team, Krishna makes them look at their own bad. Why is it important? Because that grounds us. That grounds us to the fact that there's good and bad and there's bad and good. That there's always scope for improvement. When there's a beautiful tale of Shiv Parvati, Parvati, the eternal Shakti, the Parashakti, she is absolutely in love with Shiv. And what is Shiv? Shiv is the tranquility, the peace, the stability, the consciousness amongst all of us, the elixir of joy. That's Shiv. And Parvati is in love with Shiv. And when she is born in the human form, make no mistake, she is Adi Shakti, she is Parashakti. When she comes in the human form, the lessons are for us, not for the other way around. She does 5,000 years of tap to get Shiv. What does that mean? Shiv and Shakti, a lot of people ask me that, Mataji, when you say Shiv and Shakti are one and they are together, then why does Parvati have to do the tap to get Shiv? Parvati's tap is a lesson to the human mind that even when the Empress herself will come in the human form, there will be so many distractions, so many situations, so many painful events that the tap and the ability to meditate on the stillness will get one closer to Shiv. So when in Gurukul and in Guru Parampara, my Swamiji that I bow down to is sitting with us today, he would say that पार्वती गुरुओं की गुरु हैं क्योंकि उन्होंने सबको तप और साधना का मतलब बताया. उनको अगर पानी से भी, बारिश भी हुई तो साधना कर रही हैं, अच्छा खाना भी आया तो साधना कर रही हैं, किसी ने बुरा बोल दिया तो साधना कर रही है, अच्छा बोला तो साधना कर रही है, और शिव को मनुष्य अवस्था में प्राप्त किया, that in human form. So what does that mean? That we can find moksha and salvation here itself by calming ourselves down, by putting ourselves to where it matters in our internal consciousness. There's a beautiful group that works for cancer patients, and what they do is that they go and work with them, and with guided meditation and hypnosis, they try and take away their pain. And in those 30 and 40 minutes each day, the cancer patient, while the body is suffering all the pains of the world possible, forgets about the pain in that 40 minutes and gets into that trance-like state, one with the consciousness, one with the God. And that's what we all need to learn. ये संसार में दुख सुख तो आता ही रहेगा, रात आएगी तो दिन को आना ही है, और दिन आया है तो रात भी आएगी ही. हम इस साइकिल से बाहर और बचने के लिए, वी आर रियली वांटिंग टू गेट अवे फ्रॉम दिस साइकिल, वी हैव टू एम्ब्रेस एंड एक्सेप्ट द साइकिल फर्स्ट. द वर्ल्ड इज स्पिनिंग, बट वी डोंट फील एनी स्पिन because it's spinning in a fashion and we are aware of it and our body is acclimatized to it. So you have to ground yourself to the spin. It is tough. That is why one needs sadhana. One needs the company of good people. One needs the company of saint-like people. One needs the company of, like I had my living guru, my living Shiv, Shardanand Giri Ji Maharaj. And one needs to remember their words over and over again, but it's possible. And it's also important to deal with the grief. When Shiv loses Sati, he is holding to his body. So, because of the time constraint, I will not go into many details of the stories. But Sati, Shiv's wife, because her father doesn't respect Shiv enough, because what is Shiv? Shiv is rawness. In Shiv, there is good and bad together. There's nothing like artificial. He is as raw as gets. Why? Because he holds everything in him. तो उनके जोगी के जोगड़े का जो रूप है वो सब कुछ लेके बैठे, इसीलिए जोगी हैं, इसीलिए he is the absolute ascetic. So the Daksh, who is the king of the king, son of the Brahma, doesn't like, what has my daughter seen in him? You know, she could have married Vishnu. He could have married anyone. Why Shiv? So he is very angry and doesn't invite Shiv to the large yagya that they are having, a large ceremony that they are having. But Sati feels very pained about it, like any daughter would. But in spiritual sense, Sati is Shakti. So Shakti and energy feels bad when powerful forces don't let good come in it, right? That's where the power starts feeling little bad. So the Shakti is also feeling bad. She says, I will go and I'll convince Daksh and make him see of how deluded he is. She goes and completely, he unnotices her like he's not seen. And that's true in this world too. The people who hold absolute high posts sometimes don't see the source of power. They ignore it. ऐसे क्या है ये? जनता को भी आज हमारा अच्छा राज्य चल रहा है क्योंकि हमारे अच्छा राज है, लेकिन आज भी बाहर की दुनिया में ट्रम्प के यहाँ चले जाओ, चलो उसका नाम नहीं, वो भी अच्छा ही होंगे. माता जी कंट्रोवर्सी मत क्रिएट करना. लेकिन कई कई तरीके के राजा हैं जहाँ पे प्रजा को लोग भूल गए हैं, है ना. अभी बहुत पूरा आप देखो कितनी कंट्रीज विध्वंस हो गया है वहां पर, नस्तो नाबूद हो गई हैं क्योंकि राजा को प्रजा की नहीं पड़ी. तो ऐसे ही दक्ष को जहां से शक्ति आ रही है, प्रजा ही तो शक्ति है, शक्ति की नहीं पड़ी थी और उन्होंने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया. ही इग्नोर्ड हर एंड शी वाज सो अपसेट विद इट that she went into the pyre of the yagna, the fire, and she self-immolated herself. Again, one would see this as just dying, but it's not dying. It's a meaning that Shakti will stay with right forces, and when the right forces are not there, Shakti will decide to go. It will not continue to stay at places where there is no goodness. So when she self-immolates herself, Shiv is so upset. Shiv has loved Shakti from eternity, has loved her since eternity, has loved her in nothingness, has loved her in everything, has loved her in something, and is just without. He cannot be without Shakti, and he is holding her and holding on to the grief. And he is holding her body, and Vishnu feels that if Shiv holds Shakti like that and keeps going with the grief, keeps holding that grief, the whole life will end. There's a spiritual meaning to it. We go through losses, but if we keep holding on our griefs for far too long, what will happen? The life starts moving away. It drifts away. The grief remains, but the life drifts away. So Vishnu says that this grief has to stop. And so he, in a spiritual tale, uses his chakra and completely cuts Shakti's body into 52 and 51, 52 debated pieces. They fell on earth and they became Shakti Pits. But the idea here is that grief needs to be processed and cut. Even when Shiv and Shakti had to do it, we will have to do it. And Shiv performs Rudra Tandav when he is in absolute grief stage. He performs Rudra Tandav for his beloved, for his Shakti. And it's a dance of grief. So there's so much to learn from it. That when we are grief struck, we shouldn't keep it all bottled up inside us. Neither should we hold on to it for too long. We should allow Vishnu is purpose. Vishnu is something more. So allow purpose to come in, but also we should express grief. Shiv did it. The Paramatma did it. तो हमें तो करना ही है. You all are here for special reasons. Every life that's born has a very special purpose to it. 1 billion opportunities are lost for one human being to be born. You all are miracles. Every human being that's born today is a miracle. And that miracle can't be born for nothing. No matter what our finite time in this life cycle is, we must get to it and we must fulfill our purpose and path in the journey. Sometimes grief tells us that. Women who have faced object violence have become propagators of helping other women. People who have lost their loved ones to cancer have done the maximum innovation in cancer. People who have seen that they never got love, they became the therapists and healers of the world and gave love back. Sometimes your pain is your purpose. Behold the pain because it gives you the purpose to be your best. And इस पेन से मत डरना, क्योंकि जो ये आपके अंदर बैठी शक्ति है, नारायण है, विष्णु है, यही उस पेन को ले रहे हैं. हमें तो पता भी नहीं चलता, हमें तो अंश मात्र ही पता चलता है. We only feel a tiny amount of pain. All the other pain is absorbed by the consciousness within, because it knows much more than we know right now. And believe that all of you are that consciousness. हमारे सनातन में अद्वैत philosophy है. It's Advait Vedanta. It means that all of us have God in us. And you don't have to look externally to find God. And that is the most beautiful essence of Sanatan. Because it tells us to connect with our internal soul and the journey. Sometimes you feel a sense of deja vu. Sometimes you feel this has happened to you prior to some other time. Sometimes your traumas repeat in your life. Something is happening for you to actually move on and change it. अगर पांडव वो युद्ध ना करते, वो महाभारत ना होती, पांडव का वहाँ राज ना होता, तो आज अधर्म और फैल रहा होता. कम से कम we have a story that tells us that when a Draupadi will be insulted in a way in the court, then there will be righteous men and women who will stand up and fight the good fight. And the Lord will be with them. And that lesson is important. So get up and fight. When you feel life is getting at you, When an illness is trying to drown you, dying for the last cell of your life, fight. And then the cycle begins again. डरना किस बात का है? I will like to end today's discourse by telling you a little bit about my own guru, Swami Shardanand Giri Ji Maharaj Ji. There's so much that I can tell about him that I don't feel time is ever enough to speak about his glory, because he was beyond time. But we lost him during COVID. And when COVID happened, so a lot of his disciples and all of us had been to Kumbh, right? It's a ritual for all of us to be at Kumbh. And all of us got the COVID virus together. And Swamiji was the strongest. He was the strongest man. He was the Shiv himself. He needed no one. And it was totally fine. And his fever went down. Everything was okay. He was sending everybody how to, basically clean your channels of breathing and do this and do that and get your lungs up and active. He was making videos for all of us. And all of the other ones were like completely lifeless and dying. Then what happened? Few of his disciples started becoming really serious, okay, very serious, critically ill. And he got to know, and he called me and he said, is so and so unwell? I said, Swamiji, you know everything. So then he said, ये नहीं होना चाहिए था, ये अच्छा नहीं हुआ. तो मैंने कहा क्या अच्छा नहीं हुआ? कह रहे नहीं अच्छा नहीं हुआ. And then he kept the phone down. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing this. He said, read Gita. I said, okay. I left it at that. Next morning, a phone comes from the caretaker who's basically taking care of Swamiji, that Swamiji's lost his vision on one eye. And we were shocked, like, how can that happen? He was completely healthy, everything was fine. And we go to him and his nose is bleeding and his one vision is gone. And we say, Swamiji, क्या हो रहा है? आपको क्या हुआ है? आप तो एकदम ठीक थे. So Swamiji says that Gita का दूसरा अध्याय पढ़ो. So second chapter of Gita is all about that life and death is nothing but somebody changing the clothes, like one discards old clothes, that is death, and life is then renewing it and taking it. And we were despondent as to what are we even reading, and he's a young person, he's as active, and we have so much unfinished business to do under him. And he goes in the hospital, Medanta. Then he loses his another eye. He meets another neurologist. They do multiple surgeries on him, and each surgery and each deterioration of his body that is happening, one of his disciples is getting fully better. It's like right in front of our eye. One eye goes, one disciple gets better. Second eye goes, second disciple gets better. Completely better. The old ones are getting better. And it's happening and happening and happening, and we are like, this, what is this? Then he fought for 87 days, and in 87 days, all his disciples were fine. No death happened nowhere in his disciples. And on the 87th day of his fighting in the hospital, I went and I spoke to the doctors and I said, how is he? He said, we've never seen a man like him. Each time he loses one of his body organs, and we ask him when we've operated him in pain and he's bleeding from brain and all over, how are you? He says, I am fine, beta, आप कैसे हो? आपको बहुत कष्ट हो रहा होगा मेरी वजह से, और इतने लोगों को आप देख रहे हो, आप ध्यान दो. And he said, इनको पेन नहीं होता है क्या? मैंने कहा कि पेन क्यों नहीं होगा, इतना आपने उनको कष्ट हो गया है, कैसे पेन नहीं होगा? So I went to Swamiji and I said, Swamiji, how are you? He said, I'm good. How's your father doing now? I said, he's perfectly fine. So I said, Swamiji, pain? He said, pain तो शरीर को होता है, मेरे को थोड़ी होता है. Those were his last words, and that night he had cardiac arrest, and that was it. My point is that in his pain, in absolute pain, when none of his body functions were working, when each part of his body was taken away out of him, and वो हंस के बोलते थे. जब उनकी पहली आँख गई तो बोले कि चलो अब तुम्हारे बाबा जी काना हो गए, और हंस के बोल रहे हैं. जब दूसरी आँख गई तो बोले चलो कोई बात नहीं, अब दोनों से नहीं दिख रहा है, अब मैं बहुत बड़ा महात्मा बनूंगा. कहते हैं सूरदास ज़्यादा बड़े महात्मा होते हैं. जब उनकी ब्रेन कटी और ब्रेन से जब उनके ब्लड आया तो उन्होंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, अभी भी देखो सोच पा रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं है. उनके मृत्यु हुई ही नहीं, क्योंकि उन्होंने हमें उनकी मृत्यु होने ही नहीं दी, उन्होंने इतने सारे लोगों को जीवंत कर दिया. His all his disciples were safeguarded. And till the last moment he made us understand what life is. So when life gives and trials and tribulations, please always remember that all of us are in this together, that the good will happen, the bad will also happen, but the bad is not permanent. What is permanent is the consciousness within us, which is Shakti, which is Shiv, which is Krishna. And if we bow down to that, we can fulfill our purpose. And to my Swamiji, to everybody, the last word that he said was telling them, अपना ये काम करना, अपना ये purpose करना, ये पूरा करना, ये और मैं आते रहूँगा. तो सारी यात्राएं आते ही रहती हैं. अपने दुखों में बस हम लोगों को एक दूसरे का साथ नहीं छोड़ना, एक दूसरे को कष्ट नहीं पहुंचाना बुरी बात बोल के. सबको कष्ट है, सबको सुख है. सनातन का मतलब ही यही है कि हम सब इसमें एक साथ हैं, और हमारे सबसे बड़ा जो लक्ष्य है वो है शिव शक्ति और विष्णु के जो कॉन्शियसनेस है अपने अंदर, उसको जान लेना. तो उन्हीं की आराधना करते हुए बहुत बहुत मैं आशीर्वाद देना चाहूँगी निशा को पहले, क्योंकि उसने इतना सुंदर, निशा को आशीर्वाद देना चाहूँगी. उसने इतना सुंदर कार्यक्रम किया, और एकदम जो है द फर्स्ट टाइम आई मेट हर आई फेल्ट लाइक शी इज़ अ वॉरियर इन हर ओन राइट, एंड शी हैज़ went through life like it's a song. So many blessings to her. May she continue being, God bless you, God bless you. May she continue being the warrior that she is, and she does. And I told her she has a lot of purpose left in her, and maybe more purpose than what she has ever achieved up until this point. So all my blessings, सबको खूब खूब आशीर्वाद, सबको खूब परमात्मा का साक्षात्कार हो, परमेश्वरी का साक्षात्कार हो, सबका दुख घटे, सबके जीवन में सुख आए. हम लोग अपने जीवन से जितना सुख दूसरों को दे सके दें. हमारे मन में सबके प्रति प्रेम हो, सौहार्द हो, हम शांति से अपने जीवन का निर्वाह करें, एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़कर इस दुनिया में चलें. कलयुग में ये वरदान भी है कि नाम जपने से आपको सीधा अपने अंदर परमात्मा का साक्षात्कार होता है. तो नाम जपे, सब सुखी हो, सब निरोगी हो. नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव. हरे कृष्णा, हरे हरे आदिशक्ति.
To ask a question, please ask. Mataji will be happy to answer, and you will be delighted to hear her answer.